What's up, everybody? Appreciate you for tuning in to On the Ball podcast. Actually, remove that really quickly. There we go. We have a guest tonight. I mean, you see her on Friday nights with me over on Passionate Precision, but because of stuff over the weekend, she just had to come on and give her thoughts.
Yeah,
So, Jory, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fine. I'm actually kind of amped up
Okay.
because of this weekend.
Okay.
My team found their way to win a game. Finally,
Right. Right. So, always
finally.
good to have a win to celebrate. Uh, Obviously, you guys know, normal co-host, not guarding the two, guarding the three. Brett, how are you doing?
Look, I couldn't have asked for a better weekend. Obviously, my Packers won. We beat the Bears. Took back first place. So life is good, but we got to get ready for a tough game next week.
Yeah, I mean, so much for Ben Johnson, winning both games and sweeping the series. So he'll have to live that down. But look, we do have NFL to
He
get
said
into.
that.
Yes, that was the actual
They're
quote, Brett. I know
they're
you know it.
taking the North and not giving it back.
Yes.
Man,
But he also
take a
said like it'd
leap
be nice
first.
to beat Matt LaFleur twice. So, but hey, he was confident in his group, and then we know how that game ended. But we'll get into that later on the show. We're gonna start off with some NBA because from time to time we do have some things to talk about there. So let's go ahead and start with Desmond Bain. So the league fined him 35,000 for launching the ball at OG Ananobi. If you see the play, like we'll see players that they're falling out of bounds, they're throwing off an opponent who's out of bounds. Desmond Bain said, forget that. Bain gets the missed shot, just stands there, straight up, not falling anywhere. Nobody pushes him or anything. It just fires it at OG Ananobi's back while he's on the ground out of bounds. I love how it put launching it like a baseball. That's hilarious. But they get up, they get in each other's face, and Desmond Bain, for whatever reason, wants to act like he didn't do anything wrong. Which I'm like, bro, do these people understand how video works? Like, we can see your actions before you did it. We know what you were trying to do. So, I want to get your thoughts on, is this maybe the most, probably like the oddest thing you've ever seen? And how is it that this did not lead into a big brawl? That's what I want to know. I guess Brett, what would you think about it?
I need to know if OG slept with Desmond Bain's girlfriend before the game or something. Because this man has a chance to turn around and start a fast
Yeah,
break, 5-on-4 advantage. Instead, he just whips that thing right at OG. I guess it would have been 4-on-4 because Suggs was out of the play, but
mm-hmm.
he he doesn't even try to look to maybe push the pace and see if he can get an easy bucket. He just throws that at OG. The fact it didn't turn into a brawl is amazing because if I'm OG, I'm just throwing hands at when I get up.
Exactly.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm gonna let him know that ain't cool, but I'm amazed it didn't turn into a brawl. And Desmond Bain going full D1 crash out was just the funniest thing I've seen all weekend.
Yeah. Jory, I guess what'd you think about it?
I don't know what's wrong with Desmond. I don't know what's wrong. Is he channeling his inner Dylan Brooks? What what are you doing?
I feel like Dylan Brooks would have swung.
Yeah, Dylan Brooks would have swung, but what are you thinking? Clearly not about actually playing basketball to do that. Like, you don't think about going, like you said, heading up the court, maybe trying to press the pace a little bit. No, I'm going to just throw this ball at you just because I feel like it. What? And then look around like I didn't do anything. And then One, the Knicks are soft. They're soft as hell. Because that should have been a fight. If that it had been me, I'm bare minimum. I'm going down there and I'm popping them with some elbows. Bare minimum.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
why wasn't that a fight? He threw something at him.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't even a basketball play. That he channeled his inner daycare dodgeball. What?
Yeah.
Desmond acting like he didn't do anything wrong just made the whole like altercation so much more funnier. Because obviously OG pops up and get into his face, and he just points at him like, "Ref, aren't you gonna do something? Like I'm innocent here. I'm just trying to save the ball, man. Like, come on,
The
Desmond."
ball was already saved. You had the whole damn rebound. What do we do? Like, bro, you had the rebound in your hand. It wasn't you had you had secured the ball. Okay, Bill. You secured the ball. And I'm like, why? I mean, the ball was so secure that the shot clock was at 24 and you're going to launch it.
Mm-hmm.
What?
I, look, people who watch, they know the Magic are a team that Brett and I both, rate up and both feel like they could do big things this year. They've had a bit of a slow start, not, I mean, to be honest, but I feel like sometimes actions like this can fire up a team, but this one's just so odd. I don't think it's going to do anything like that for the Magic. Maybe the Knicks, it wakes them up a little bit. But to Jory's point, like old school Knicks, you already know Charles Oakley probably would have been flying in from behind with like an elbow or something like that. And how this Knicks group, because I was thinking about like who's probably the one guy you could see maybe getting involved in something. You would like to look to the big men, but we know Cat's not that type of player. Mitchell Robinson, but the Knicks would probably be afraid of him hurting himself if he tried to get involved. I feel like the only person who could do it would be like Josh Hart. Maybe. I
See,
don't
he's a
know.
clown.
Say if Mitchell Robinson throws punches like he shoots free throws, he'll miss anyway. So what's the point?
Exactly. Like I mean, I wonder what Knicks fans thought about this. Like some of them probably were like, yeah, miss those Charles Oakley days. Because like I said, Oakley probably would have choke slammed Bane. Like he would have did all that. He didn't care.
Oh,
Most
next time,
Knicks fans wanted a fight because they
Yeah.
were like, what are y'all doing?
Mm-hmm.
nah. If it was Charles Oakley, next time down the floor, Bane's getting a shoulder. Next time he goes into the paint,
Yeah.
he doesn't even need to have the ball. He's just getting leveled.
Right.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess I hope Bane got his money's worth. It cost him $35,000.
Well, that's what the hell he get. He lucky he didn't get a hook to the face
Right.
because that's what I would have did. I'm like, what? You throw something at me, I'm throwing a hook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So kicking off the NBA talk, let's get into the NBA Cup, which the knockout round starts tomorrow and Wednesday. This is the final bracket. So they went through the group play and everything. Now it's win or go home. We have OKC Phoenix. Got Jory's Lakers versus the Spurs. We have Desmond Bane's Magic and the Heat. And then we have Toronto and the Knicks. So interesting matchups here. I guess, what are your thoughts on the teams that are left in the tournament? Anybody surprise you? Who do you think ultimately wins the NBA Cup?
I will say this. LeBron, since you miss your wife so much, go retire. Quit wasting my damn time. Get 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 you and your arthritis riddled knee off my roster. Get your bum ass son off my roster. Like, bro,
I mean, look,
last week it was arthritis, and this week it's out in Savannah. Go home. Go home. Go home.
So imagine this: Lakers win the NBA Cup. LeBron and Bronny can share that father and son, and I don't know, like the the LeBron stuff is just it's just
I,
interesting.
it,
Only because he misses Celtics Lakers, but he's still like the focal point because we get the bucket hat and the big jug of water that he kept drinking from. Then he comes back the next game,
and not even doing jack squat.
right? But then he comes
What you need all that
and
damn water for?
I guess to keep his joints loose. I don't know, but then he comes back the next game when Luca returns because Luca was out for birth of a kid, so it made sense why he didn't play. Then LeBron has the streak end with his double digit point games. Then I believe he missed the next game after that. Then comes back and has a pretty good game to lead to a win. But now it's like we know about sciatica. We knew about that. But now they're talking about arthritis, reasons to rest. I mean, I don't know how many more years he thinks he's going to play, but it certainly seems like his body is telling him, bruh, we got to stop at this point.
Arthritis is pretty much our body's way of saying, sit your ass down somewhere.
Right. I mean, it's
That's
been a long
exactly what
career,
it's.
Brody.
He
Well,
doesn't need to. I don't want him on my G League roster either.
Brody,
He can go.
he gets a couple of minutes here or there, and then you realize why he
Man,
doesn't play regularly.
get the James squad off my roster. I do like what the Spurs are doing though.
Okay.
Phoenix is playing better than I expected.
Mm-hmm.
I really flat out expected them to stink, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised that I can sit through a Raptors game. I will say that. It's been a long time since I've been able to do that.
Say,
Brandon Ingram has been playing better.
yeah, that never lasts long. Brandon Ingram goes
True.
through hot stretches, and then when his tough 15-footers stop falling, then he just becomes unwatchable. So I'm just waiting. Raptors fans will turn on him before the year ends. I promise you that.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Say, first off, you know what we got to do. We got to pour one out. It's Darvin Ham missing his first NBA Cup, so say Lakers and Bucks legend. So, but in all reality, it's just so tough to pick against OKC. Like, I want to get creative and go, oh yeah, maybe Phoenix does it. Maybe maybe the Lakers pull it off. But we just watched them with, even though they're facing Utah, we just watched them without Shea go in and win by like 30. So
Mm-hmm.
it I
Okay,
just don't
so
see who stops them
if
right now.
if we're gonna assume OKC comes out of the left side of the bracket, who comes out from the east then to face OKC in the final?
Let's see. I'm gonna guess it'll be OKC New York.
Okay. Jory, who do you think comes out of the east?
I want to be wild and spontaneous.
Go for it.
I don't believe in Orlando for whatever reason. After Bane did that shit, I'm like, bro, you on timeout. The whole damn team is on timeout. I don't like Miami. You know what? F it. The Raptors. Raptors Thunder. Even though I know the Thunder are gonna win it.
Okay. I mean, that would be an interesting matchup. And for the Raptors, it would be good to, I guess, see them against an OKC team, and they could kind of judge how far away they are. I did watch them. I guess when the Celtics played them, like my first time to really just sit down and watch the Raptors. Like they have interesting elements, but you can kind of tell that they're probably not a team that's going to be here for the long haul. Like, because they have those moments where the offense, it's kind of rough. And like Brett said, especially if Brandon Ingram doesn't have it going, because he is one of the guys that can at least create a little bit for himself. Like they're mainly a team that has to play hustle turnovers to win.
Mm-hmm.
So if they made it, I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
Say, if Miami makes it against OKC to the championship, game's over after the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto might last 2 quarters. Orlando and New York probably are the best options to put up a fight, but I don't see OKC losing to anybody on the East bracket if they make it to the championship. By the way, I feel like this isn't NBA related, but this report from Ian Rappaport that just came out is wild.
What is it?
The Colts are planning to bring potential Hall of Fame quarterback Philip Rivers into their facility Tuesday
Oh
to work
my
out
God.
to see if he may join their practice squad.
Didn't he just have another baby? I guess he gotta buy milk. What the hell?
Because I mean the
What the
Colts,
hell?
like we'll talk about it later, obviously, but the Colts without Daniel Jones, Riley Leonard's got a knee injury. They're basically Brett Rippin and a hope and a prayer away from just having Jonathan Taylor run
I
Wildcat all day.
I think I'd rather have Jonathan Taylor run Wildcat all day than Philip Rivers.
Like, hasn't Philip Rivers been coaching high school?
Yes.
have we seen like the last time we saw Philip Rivers, he could hardly throw the ball like
Yeah.
15 yards accurately. Like he wasn't good. I can't imagine. Like I get it, it's a desperate Colts team, but this just sounds like beyond desperate, and I don't think this works out at all.
How much would I bet they put in a call to Andrew Luck? For
I
like,
would have
hey,
blocked. If I'm Andrew Luck, I'm like, absolutely the fuck not. And block.
like I want to know who else they
Block.
called. Did they call Matt Ryan? They call Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Eli Manning. Like, did they just call a bunch of people? You know, that's hilarious. Oh, the Colts, man.
Well,
But I guess,
apparently he's
like I
on
said,
his
we'll
way
get to
to
them.
Indy. Apparently
Hmm?
he's on his way to Indy to work out. So we last saw him in 2020 for the Colts. So we'll see.
So I guess this is just the day to bring up because I also saw like Jason Pierre-Paul's on a practice squad somewhere now.
If
So we're
he
just
don't take him in his club hand and go just enjoy retirement.
Philip Rivers. Wow. Okay. I mean, I
So
kind of
should
want to see him in a game now. Like,
That
I,
is such a cult thing to damn do. Like what?
yeah.
What the hell?
And they're only doing
What
this because Anthony Richards' stupid self hurt himself warming up.
with a damn band? He broke his eye socket with an exercise band. Warming up. The hell? How
That's
do
the
you
only
do
reason why
that?
they're doing this. That's crazy.
amazing. You can't script that any better. Like, how do you think this is gonna go?
Right.
Oh,
The
that was
man 44. He,
apparently like he just didn't want to spend time around the holiday. Like the house is too stressful. So he's like, I'd rather go play again.
Mm-hmm.
that's his fault.
In-laws are coming over. Too many people. He's like, nah, I'm going to Indianapolis, guys. Good luck though.
Right. That is crazy. But
I
yeah, so
mean,
like I said, NBA Cup starts tomorrow. I think we all have OKC coming out of the West. So Jory's got the Raptors in the East. Brett, you have the Knicks in the East.
Oh yeah.
I'll take the Magic out of the East. I don't feel confident in it, but I'll take them. I guess we'll see who makes it out, and then who ultimately wins it, and we kind of get back to the regular season. College football bracket. So one bracket to another. There's a lot of anticipation, people sitting around waiting to see how the bracket would go. Ultimately, this is what we got. We got Indiana as the number one overall seed after beating Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. Again, that Ohio State missed a late field goal. That's how Indiana won. But, defenses were a premium there. Ohio State falls from 1 to 2, so they just flip flopped. Okay. Georgia stays at 3 after beating Bama in the SEC title game. Texas Tech goes to 4. They beat BYU. RG3 is BYU in the
Don't
Big
get me started
12
on that.
championship game. Right. Yeah. Knocking BYU out of this, so somewhere RG3's crying. 5 seed is Oregon, who, great year, Big Ten, we know. They're going to face James Madison, 12 seed, which a lot of people all of a sudden have a problem with James Madison getting in. We'll get into that. 6, you have Ole Miss. With all the Lane Kiffin nonsense, they're going to now have to turn around and play Tulane. Texas A&M, 7 seed. They're going to face Miami. 8-9, you have Oklahoma, Alabama. And those are the matchups that, the committee decided to go with. Now, obviously, the big things that happened that really formulated this, Virginia lost to Duke. Duke was 7-5. A lot of people were like, please don't win Duke, because then that's going to make the committee's job interesting. I, on the other hand, wanted Duke to win because I wanted to see what the committee would do. They shocked Virginia, knocking the ACC out of the conference championship pool, which is why we got James Madison in, because they always do was it like the Power 5 conference champions and then a group of 6 champion. But with no ACC champion, you had 2 group of 6, Tulane, James Madison. That explains those two. I saw a lot of people wondering why Tulane and James Madison were in. That's why. Then we get Bama losing. So everybody's wondering, Bama was 9. How far do they drop? Because hoping for them to drop, Notre Dame, Miami, who were 10-12 at the time, waiting for their opportunity to get in. BYU was 11. Like I said, they lost to Texas Tech. They eliminated themselves. Ultimately, the committee goes with Bama staying at 9, jumping Miami from 12 to 10, which left Notre Dame sitting on the outside looking in, which we'll get into Notre Dame's aftermath after this. But were you okay with that decision? Did you think they would go a different way? Do you? I guess I was just asking. Does Bama deserve to be in? Are you okay with Miami jumping Notre Dame? Did the committee get it right? That's all we care about. They got it right. So here's your 12-team bracket. Do you have any issues with the 12 teams that are in the college football playoff right now?
No. And here's the thing. Yeah, I will admit I am an Alabama fan,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also realist. I'm a realist.
Mm-hmm.
When you take into consideration all of the metrics that they use for this crap, and I'm talking to the crying Irish,
Mm-hmm.
them specifically, because they've been pissing me off, and everybody else with this Bama fatigue. Strength of record, strength of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
We even made it to the conference championship, a game that Notre Dame yearly chooses not to play in.
Mm-hmm.
And the teams that we ended up losing to, the bad loss was Florida State. I thought that loss was going to do something. But the teams we ended up losing to are still in the freaking playoff. So the conference is stronger than whatever the hell the ACC is. We had 4 top 10 wins in a month.
Mm-hmm.
You can't discredit that. And the SEC championship game was an unnecessary game to me. It was kind of unnecessary because I'm like, that kind of made it unnecessary because we already went to Stanford earlier and beat the crap out of Georgia. That's what negated the SEC championship. Us going to Athens and beating them. So yes, I think the committee got it right, and Notre Dame can just join a conference or continue to deal with this BS moving forward.
Okay. Like I said, we'll get into the Notre Dame aspect in a little bit. Brett, looking at the 12 teams that did get in, do you have any issue with the final bracket?
So I don't have any issues with the final bracket. I know, like I said, I know that obviously the big complaint everybody was moaning about Alabama, but 4 wins over top 25 teams, 10-3 record. When you're, I think that's probably what helped them are the multiple wins over top 25 teams. So at the end of the day, I'm all right with it.
Okay. Follow-up question, because this has been the side of the street that I have been on for years since they started talking about expansion. Do they need to go beyond 12? Because I saw Stephen A this morning talk about he wants 16, maybe even 20. I've said the perfect number is 16 when it was back at 8, I think, or when 8 was being floated out. I thought 16 would be the best number. And just my reference was the FCS, their playoff is 24. So I felt like if FBS wanted to go somewhere near that, I would be perfectly okay with it. I probably should have put up a graphic. Somebody actually went ahead and did what a 2014 playoff would look like. It's crazy, but yeah. Would you like to see expansion from 12? And if you would, what number do you think they should go to?
I think it's perfect at 12 because either way, somebody's going to be crying every year.
True.
Even if you put it at 14, number 15 going to cry. You put it at 16, number 17, cry.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be left out and they're going to feel snubbed for whatever reason and start on this whole whining. Please don't do it as bad as Notre Dame did it this year. They threw an absolute bitch fit.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
wouldn't
So
add
since
too
you
many more
like it,
teams.
well, I was
Like
about to, because Jory wants to keep it at 12. Do you think the format should change? Like, because like I said, everybody's looking at Tulane and James Madison. Are you okay with them giving spots to non-power conference teams?
Yeah, if the ACC wants to continue to be absolute ass,
Okay. Because
say
like I said, I have no problem with group of 6 teams getting in. And like I said, Virginia takes care of their business. James Madison isn't in it, and nobody is complaining about Tulane and James Madison. But okay, Brett, you fine with 12, or should they go expanding more?
I wouldn't go too much higher, right? Like I wouldn't be opposed, for example, if they wanted to bump it up to like 14. But I think the most I would go is like 16 tops.
Okay.
Because I think like after that point it just starts to get absurd. Like I'm okay with 12, but I really wouldn't go any higher than like 16 because after that it just gets real awkward at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because then you just start getting like some really oddball teams that probably just get the brakes beaten off of them. And I feel like the goal is to keep the college football, playoffs competitive and prestigious.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you want to go too far and start just adding in like teams that are just going to be uncompetitive and get their teeth
like
kicked
holy
in.
crap.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right. Okay. Now I will
And
say,
UT chat.
right. Yeah. I mean, because look, I've seen Vanderbilt has kind of floated out. I think it's like a 14 team model where 12, well, 11, 12, 13, and 14 face each other to be the last two spots in what eventually becomes 12, which I think that could be interesting. Which I guess if you use this model this year, 13 and 14 would probably be Notre Dame and probably Vanderbilt. And you'd have them battle Tulane and James Madison to become the 11 and 12 seeds. Would you rather see something like that? Because that way you still get the group of six teams in, but now they kind of get to play against maybe one of the big boy teams before getting in to the 12. Would you rather see a model like that?
So Notre Dame didn't get in, so they're going full Adam Silver, saying they need a play-in tournament. Is
Well,
that
this
what
is
they're doing?
Vanderbilt. I'm just saying if Vanderbilt got their
Oh,
way, Notre Dame would be a playing team
I mean
trying to
that's.
fight their way into to the top 12.
I think that's fine. I think that'd be fun if you want to add in like a couple extra teams and have keep it at 12, but have like a couple teams play each other one on one for that last spot. I think that'd be a fun high stakes game. I'm all for it. I do love the NBA playing tournament, and I think that could just be a very interesting way to decide, that 12 seed. So, you know what? Why not? I'm here for it.
Okay. Jordan, would you be down with that?
Hmm.
Okay.
That
I,
way,
I
people like Notre Dame can't cry. Play for that 12 seed since you want to do so much about it.
yeah. I thought it was a smart thing for Vanderbilt to bring up. Kirby Smart kind of let us know that it is something that has been discussed before. So it might be a model that they go to when they are able to, make changes to the top 12. So we'll see how that plays out. But
All Notre Dame has to do next year be in the top 12, and they're guaranteed a playoff spot. So,
Or
nice.
just join a damn conference.
So we're talking about Notre Dame. Let's talk about Notre Dame. So Notre Dame doesn't make the playoff and then decides that, look, you don't want us in your playoff. We're not going to participate in your bowl system anyway, which I think they were supposed to be in the Pop Tarts Bowl, which I believe Georgia Tech is going to. So you could have gotten Georgia Tech Notre Dame. That would have been an interesting matchup. But first question, are you okay with them opting out? Because we have seen before, Georgia didn't make it a couple of years ago. They went and destroyed, uh, was it Travis or Jordan Travis and Florida State, where Jordan Travis actually got hurt, which derailed his career completely. But we saw Georgia take it out on Florida State, whereas Notre Dame is taking their ball and running home. If you were a player on that team, well, actually, no, well, let's not phrase it that way, but we're obviously not going to feel bad for Notre Dame. But is it safe to say that you feel bad for like the seniors on the team who, at least with a bowl game, would have one more game before they leave? Because we know not everybody from Notre Dame is going into the NFL. Or like one of those juniors who might have been thinking about going pro, they would have had at least one more game to play. Like, what would you feel about Notre Dame opting out? Do you think it's a sort of loser move? Do you understand why they did it and you're okay with it? How do you feel about Notre Dame?
They are punks. 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 Like, what kind of a bitch fit is this? So, because you didn't handle your business and beat Miami, knowing y'all knew going into the season that that game versus Miami was probably going to be a playoff game for you. Y'all had to know that. You went out there and laid an egg. Then you refuse to join a conference, so you start scheduling all these damn cupcakes. Not our fault that you didn't play no damn body.
Mm-hmm.
That is not our fault.
Yeah.
But then to sit there and act like it's such a gut punch, da 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 da, when this could have been expected, because you knew they had to look at the totality of the equation, and they've said it all year. These are not the final rankings.
Mm-hmm.
They're delusional. They got so caught up in their own hype that they got their own heads stuck up so far up their own butts that they just can't see anything. So you're going to opt out of a bowl because you want a chance to get your 12th national championship? We have 18, and you don't see us doing no bitch shit, and we didn't get in the playoffs last year.
I hope Notre Dame gets 4 losses next year. Yeah.
I feel bad for the seniors who probably low key wanted that game to have it like their last ride.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm anywhere in that locker room, I'm getting the hell out of there. I'm like, I don't want to be somewhere where they quit like this because things don't go their way.
Mm-hmm.
Just pouting. Is this football or is this preschool?
So you
So,
did bring up their schedule. I wanted to put that up really quickly because I do think that is a factor into this
for this year or next year?
this year.
They still don't play nobody next year.
Hey, look, they got Purdue and Syracuse on the road. What more do you want?
So yeah, like part of the reason, and Jory talking about join a conference. When you're an independent, who you schedule matters so much more because you don't have that built-in, conference opponents to help you out. So this is kind of a standard schedule for Notre Dame. Problem is, normally USC's like a top 10-ish type of team. That helps. Normally Pitt is actually Pitt's usually kind of like a 15 to 20 ranked team, whatever. BC is normally not a 1-win team. Syracuse is normally not a 3-win team, and Stanford is usually ranked. So yeah, the fact that the first 2 weeks you lost to Miami and A&M, that was literally your schedule. That's what your schedule was hung up on, was winning those 2 games and then the rest whatever. I mean, technically, if they win just one, which I guess the Miami game, they get in, even if they lost to A&M after. But now they have this mentality that, yeah, we started 0-2 because we heard them talk about, well, remember, the Miami game was CJ Carr's first game, so you can't hold that against us. And then they win 10 straight, so they feel like they're the hottest team in college football, so why wouldn't they get in? Plus, like I said, this might be, if this is something they wanted to gripe about, I guess. They were ranked ahead of Miami most of this time. They were ranked ahead of Miami going into the weekend. And then for the final bracket, Miami jumped them. And we all know Miami didn't play, Notre Dame didn't play. And then the committee said, well, we did take in consideration week 1, Miami did beat Notre Dame. Are you okay with that reasoning? Because it didn't reflect before going into the final session, but then they brought it up and used it against Notre Dame at that point. You okay with that?
To me,
That,
that means it was really close about who they wanted to put in there.
That's what I believe that as well. Seems like they used it as
If it
like a
came
tie.
down to that.
I'm looking at their schedule next year. I see 3 losses: SMU, USC, Miami.
I
If
saw
they
at
don't
least
win
3.
again, then yeah. Okay.
say it
Go
feels
ahead.
like going back to the head-to-head, like that's just tiebreaker. Like if you're that close, you're going to need a certain tiebreaker. I'm cool with it. It is what it is, and just better luck next year, I guess. Hope y'all do it because I don't really want to sit through another year of listening to everybody complain about this. So, like for their sake, I hope Notre Dame makes it next year, so I don't have to hear about it again next year.
And for the love of
So I
God,
did.
leave Alabama the hell alone. We didn't do anything. And here we come with Notre Dame. I'm like, damn. Do
Yeah.
we need to remind you how y'all played in the last 2 national championship games that you played in? We saw what happened last year, and then the last time you didn't get across the 50 until the third damn quarter. And you know how I remember that? Because that was the Manti Te'o game, catfish.
And it's a it's ironic them backing out of the bowl game. one of the most iconic football movies is, Rudy, about a Notre Dame player that wouldn't quit. And now in real time, we're watching this team just kind of give up and take their ball and go home.
So this is Notre Dame's schedule next year. If you're watching, we're not a Notre Dame show or anything, but this is fascinating to me. So next year, they're looking at Miami to start off, probably Syracuse, SMU, Wisconsin at Lambeau Field. Okay. Rice, Michigan State, Purdue, Bill Belichick's North Carolina, Navy, and USC. I mean, that schedule is probably better than this year. But yeah, they're going to have to beat Miami. Like, USC is going to be a big game. They better hope North Carolina is better next year. Michigan State's kind of been down for a little bit. Like, they're relying on a lot with this schedule again. I mean, they put Purdue back on there. So
I feel like if they lose like any of those road games, wrap it up.
They're done.
No, rank them. Like, I'm sorry, like Wisconsin, Wisconsin just sucks. Hate watching Wisconsin football. Say Syracuse saying they're world beaters. If you can't beat Purdue, I don't know what to tell you there.
right.
So
Karam, I hate crybabies. I hate crybabies. And then for the AD to go there and say that, I'm glad the ACC people said their response. You're lying, and I'm sorry that your feelings are hurt.
Mm-hmm. So, final question before we move on. Should Notre Dame just join a conference? And if so, is the ACC the easy move for them? Or do you think they should join somewhere else?
They probably burnt that bridge with the ACC, so.
I mean, that's pretty much the answer, though, right? Like, their
Right.
basketball team, I believe, is in the ACC. I believe their baseball
All their
team
other
is in the
sports
ACC. Like,
are ACC.
every
Yeah.
league is in the ACC except for football. So they probably should, but I feel like they're just going to be too stubborn to do it. It's so fascinating to me still about that clause if they make the top 12 that they're in the college football playoffs, because I don't think any other team really has that clause.
So
Like,
Part of that is college football, recognizing Notre Dame, the brand, and giving them a pipeline in because they're not in a conference. I mean, look, I think perfect world, they probably should be like a Big Ten type of team. But yeah, just go ahead, join the ACC, because even if the ACC is down, just dominate the conference then. And when it's good, you'll at least have Clemson on your schedule, probably Florida State if they get their stuff together, Miami. That's like 3 signature games right there, which is kind of more than you have on your schedule normally anyway. So
yeah, the alignment would be kind of funny because you got everybody else on the coast, and you got Notre Dame and cold ass Indiana.
well, I mean, look, the NCAA headed down this road when they allowed like the Big East to get devoured, Pac-12. Like this is just college football right now. Because like I'm a BC fan, and BC doesn't deserve to be in the ACC. I'm not gonna lie. When they thought about moving, I kind of wanted them to join the Big Ten. Glad they didn't, because they probably look a lot worse there as well. But it's just geographically all over the place. You can't keep up with it. What really hurts is you have Stanford in the ACC now. It's just weird. A weird time we're living in right now.
College football is a drama. It's a reality show. It's a hot mess.
Yeah.
You got Lane over here denying conferences because he don't want to face the music because he knows Saban was probably gonna rip his ass on national television for that crap.
Yeah, Big Ten is UCLA, and yeah. It's crazy that the Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore. That's crazy to me.
R.I.P.
And who knows? Any longer, the ACC might go away as well. Because we've already seen Clemson.
Please do not put
We've seen
Clemson.
Clemson and Florida State flirting with the SEC. I feel like if that did happen, Notre Dame would jump to the Big Ten. You know, um, I think like Virginia and North Carolina want to go. Like it's the ACC is kind of hanging on by a thread right now.
I don't want no it. I don't want no Clemson. I don't want no Florida State and no ACC diluting the product,
But I mean,
diluting it,
that I mean,
ruining the prestige. It's bad enough we got Oklahoma ass in here.
but Oklahoma at least brings some. Like Oklahoma is a good football school. I wouldn't even say. Well, I mean, Clemson is
Well, I'm
definitely.
just bitter, but
But I mean, it's all about footprint. That's all these conferences say. They want footprints all over the place, and that's why they were okay bringing in Texas and Oklahoma. I mean, SEC had Texas
uh,
A&M, but Texas is the bigger school. That's all.
I miss the old
We're literally
SEC.
going to be SEC versus Big Ten probably in like 20 years. There's going to be a division line north and south. That's what college
The
football is.
Mason Dixon line.
That's what it's basically going to turn into. It's already
Anything, anything south of Kentucky is the SEC.
it might just turn into that. Okay. Moving on from Notre Dame. NFL. So we had a lot of things happen this weekend. It was you watched enough of the 1 o'clock window, especially. You got a lot of storylines. I'm gonna start with Pittsburgh, Baltimore, because that was
I
a
knew
game
it.
that was built up. AFC North clash, you know, Tomlin versus Harbaugh. We're all ready for it, and with a little bit of controversy, Isaiah Likely, which we know he's been known to be involved in some. Remember the Chiefs game where he just had that toe out of bounds, but the Steelers get the win. The Ravens are now 6-7. Steelers are 7-6. Look, as much as we kind of get on the Ravens, I guess to some you could say they feel like they got wrong by the Likely decision, but Steelers now, I guess, own the division because the Bengals lost to the Bills. They basically are eliminated. Are the Steelers now the favorites to win the division, or do you think the Ravens ultimately overtake them? Because I wouldn't say it was impressive by either team. Although Aaron Rodgers jumped into the time machine with the running touchdown. That wasn't on my bingo card for this game.
The
But
Ravens are pathetic for allowing that.
I, I mean, yes, but it's not something you think about on defense of Rodgers rolling out. It's always like that Peyton Manning one where it was like the slowest rollout ever and he walked into the end zone. You're just like, how do you allow that to happen? Because nobody's thinking about it. But do the Steelers win the division, or do you still think the Ravens win it?
My opinion. As
Mm-hmm.
long as Daniel Falele plays, the Ravens are toast.
Okay.
Toast. Like, damn. Every time. Why is he always at the scene of the crime doing jack squat? Not doing jack. Looking clueless, doing this with his hands, twirling around in circles, getting blown by, and then got the nerve to tell Lamar. They always see it coming. A block! Block.
I
That's
play at this
all
point
you have to
most
do.
defenses scheme to go at him. I would do it. Run twists, run stunts purposely to go at him. I feel like that's what teams are doing now.
And I put this on Harbaugh because I'm like, y'all know this man is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Why do y'all continue to try his big butt out there? He is big for no reason. How you
Mm-hmm.
gonna be big and bad?
Falele is interesting in the sense that, like, if you directly go at him with no stunts or twists or anything, he probably wins that one-on-one matchup. He is stupid strong. But as soon as you run a stunt or you force him off your spot,
He's
he's cooked. Like he has no post snap awareness if he doesn't have to directly block what's in front of him. So I'll pick the Steelers to win, and it might be sort of a homer pick because they do have Aaron Rodgers, and I'm hoping he makes the playoffs one last time. But it's also just kind of not a homer pick. The whole division's just kind of a disaster. Quite
Mm-hmm.
frankly, I'd rather just like not let any of them in and pick somebody else. But apparently, we can't do that. So,
right.
Because they all have their own issues. The Steelers aren't old. The
Mm-hmm.
Ravens just don't have a defense or an offensive line. The Bengals' defense is just hanging on by a thread. And honestly, that thread snapped in half a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Steelers are like the best of this dumpster fire. So I'll stick with Pittsburgh winning the division.
Yeah.
And the Ravens always forget that they have a 6'5" linebacker as a running back.
Yes.
Make it make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Rasheen Ali, whatever the hell his name is,
Yeah, him and Keaton Mitchell, they factor.
Keaton Mitchell? I think he's better at pass protection. But if you stop trotting Daniel Falele fat ass out there, then you damn sure don't need him out, Keaton Mitchell out there as much.
Yeah. I mean, look, part of their problem is Lamar just hasn't been, MVP level this year. They still don't know how to necessarily work in Derrick Henry, which is crazy. But um, I'll probably go with the Steelers to win it. I held up that hope of the Bengals creating pure chaos and finding a way to win it, but
They
no,
lost.
their defense when they needed them failed against Josh Allen, so they're not gonna get it done. Um, yes, Henry doesn't get 100 yards; they get an L. What a shock!
And
But
the thing is, like, the whole AFC North needs to redo their coaching. All of them need to go.
mm-hmm.
Every single last one. Stefanski is an idiot.
Well, we can transition
Like,
to it
bro.
because Suggs, John, what's up? Said Sanders ball yesterday, WTF moment, which the 2-point conversion. I don't know what that play was necessarily because it seemed like it was a double reverse. They gave Judkins the option to keep it. It seemed like he didn't know what he wanted to do and ended up, running past the reverse. Then he runs to the sideline, goes, oh crap, three-quarters of the defense is in front of me, then floats out a pass like he knows how to throw a football, like he could play quarterback.
And it almost got picked off by
They're like,
Arden. If Arden didn't have feet for hands, he catches that.
so, to John's point, why did they not, I guess, put the ball in Shador's hands on the 2-point conversion?
Because Stefanski is a dumbass who likes to overthink stuff. He's been overthinking this whole quarterback situation the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And before we even start on the Browns, I'm going to point out the positives of my Titans because it's actually important to talk about who won the game
Yes.
instead of how the Browns lost. Because in reality, a lot of those yards were on screens.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying Shador didn't play well. He did.
Mm-hmm.
But the Titans were actually trying to win, contrary to popular belief, yesterday, and they found a way to win. No, they found a way because we had control of that game before the offense started offensing again because, of course, youth and experience. We earned that. Don't sit here and say the Browns gave us shit. We earned that. We thoroughly earned that. Jeffrey Simmons should have had 5 sacks. He should have had. He had a sack and a half.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't fall on one, that's 2.5 sacks, and a couple of them, other people fall. Cam made some throws. We're not going to sit here and act like Cam didn't make the throws that he needed to make. He did,
Mm-hmm.
as well as putting Grant Delpit into the ground head first. But that was hilarious. Grant Delpit needs some work. He needs some milk. Yes, Pollard was important, but when you
I,
game plan
I
to
didn't see
neutralize
Pollard.
Miles Garrett,
I didn't see Pollard going for 160. That was surprising to see.
that's what you got to do to neutralize Miles Garrett. Run the damn
Mm-hmm.
ball.
Yep.
I like what I see. I just don't like how now on social media we have people trying to discredit and dismiss Cam to uplift Shador. That shit I don't like.
They're
Excuse
doing
my
it with others,
language.
I saw a post before it came on here. They were talking about Shador has more 300-yard passing games than Drake May. I was like, oh, we're not doing this.
Here we're not doing this.
I was like, I don't care about that, but
He started 3 games. Cam's been starting all year. His coach got fired week 5. We're not going to sit here and try to do this.
mm-hmm. Yes.
We earned the win. Now, granted, was a little luck involved because of Stefanski's incompetence. Yes, I will admit that. But we earned that.
It's one of those things where I think a lot of teams, like there'll be a decent amount of teams that will regret not taking Shador Sanders. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. Titans are not one of those teams. I think Cam Ward's actually still going to be a better quarterback. I think Cam has flashed all the tools to be a great quarterback. It's one of those things. You watch, obviously you're going to see the completions, but I thought he made a lot of impressive throws too that weren't caught. Obviously, I
Mm-hmm.
think the best example being his throw with some unblocked defenders coming through the A gap. He lets a perfect throw to beat the coverage of Van Jefferson and just hit him in a
And
bad
it should
spot
have been
and hit him
caught.
in the hands. Yeah, exactly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's just to sit here and try to compare the situations is a little disingenuous. There's a lot of problems right now with the Titans that just aren't a Cam Ward problem. If you put Jerry Jeudy right now onto the Tennessee Titans, he would easily be the best receiver the Titans have to offer. And I'm not saying all the Titans receivers are bad. We're just looking
They're
at a young
inexperienced.
group that need more reps and experience. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the Cam Ward is still a great quarterback. The Titans, they got a lot of problems to fix, but they got their franchise quarterback. But on the Cleveland side, I'm not ready to call Shador Sanders the franchise quarterback, right? Because we've seen this before. We've seen quarterbacks go crazy. Time to dub them franchise quarterback, and it turns out it's just a really hot game from him. We saw Shador kind of be up and down so far. Then all of a sudden he seemingly puts it together on this one. Just need to see him finish strong. I need to see some consistency here down the stretch.
Mm-hmm.
He threw for 360 and 3 touchdowns. Great. So did Christian Ponder his rookie year. I think Shador Sanders is going to be a better quarterback than Christian Ponder. I think Shador Sanders will be a starting caliber quarterback. That being said, I'm going to pump the brakes. I don't know if starting caliber quarterback right now means he's going to be a franchise quarterback, but I think he's off to a great start in that regard. But there is no need to put down Cam Ward to, uplift Shador Sanders. You can just celebrate both guys' talents.
Also, Cleveland floating out this idea of like Deshaun Watson factoring in next year. Don't do that. Like,
Don't do that.
just go into the
Do not do that to
offseason.
your fan base. Don't do
Right.
that.
It's just like, just go into the offseason, let Shador, let Dylan Gabriel fight for the starting job, give it to whoever at a camp, and just go that way. Deshaun Watson, you gave him that money. I get it. You want to get some return on investment, but just count your losses. Let him run it out. Send him home. Do whatever. Then when his contract's off the books, you wipe your hands clean and you go forward. For Cam Ward, it's the same thing. Drake May went through his first year. That next coach is so important because you're seeing the raw talent in Cam Ward. Now you need that coach, that OC, that QB coach who now kind of brings it all together. And obviously, in the offseason, you'd like to see him probably do the trendy thing, meet up with the young wide receivers, build even more of a rapport with them, and probably better off going into next year. I mean, it was a good display of like young quarterbacks in the league, but we can make this a 2-lane road and see what Cam Ward is, seeing what Shador is. We don't have to
And they're
compare.
friends, and I don't like it when y'all do that to friends.
Yeah. Okay.
Now they, the Vikings and the Commanders show me exactly why I do not pick them
Mm-hmm.
at all.
Yeah.
The Commanders didn't exist for 2 quarters. Well, pretty much they didn't exist for 4 because they had scored. But the Commanders are fried. Stop trotting Daniels out there. They're done. Cooked.
Yes. Yeah.
Toast.
I mean, I think
Yeah,
they are officially eliminated, I believe.
I'd say Jaden Daniels just shouldn't have been out there
Yeah.
against the Vikings, and I thought that was just very clear right from the jump. He just never looked right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the secret to JJ McCarthy, hear me out, all of his best games have come after he missed the previous couple games. So hear me out. Next year's game plan. Sign 2 quarterbacks, obviously, but JJ McCarthy only starts every other week. Maybe that's the key to unlocking JJ McCarthy, because I don't know.
Just go get another quarterback at that point.
Every time, like, you give him like an extra week to prepare, he comes back, lights the world on fire, then turns back into a pumpkin for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I
So
do
that
think
means
they just need to go get another quarterback in all reality.
there's an issue with his preparation and his processing. It's something up here.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an extra week to prepare and you come out looking like a world beater, and then when you're supposed to do things on schedule, you look like a incompetent. What does that tell you? Something ain't right up here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of quarterbacks who shouldn't have been out there, you gotta feel bad for Daniel Jones. He was a gamer. He went up against the Texans defense with the fracture in his leg, made it through that game. They go up against Jacksonville. He ends up tearing his Achilles. We saw him on the ground slamming his helmet. He knew what happened, and it's in his other leg. So obviously, he was compensating for the broken leg, tore the Achilles in his other leg, and now he's done for the year, and probably done for maybe most of next year. So you definitely feel bad for him. He shouldn't have been out there. But
Hmm.
quick question, because like I said, we're coming towards the end here. Are the Colts finally done? Was this the final nail in the coffin? I mean, they have Riley Leonard who could save their season, but good luck banking on him. And then they're dragging Phillip Rivers from Daddy Daycare to go to their practice squad, and who knows, in a couple of weeks we might see old man Rivers out there trying to play. And all this
They can come get Will Levis.
still on IR because he's just an idiot.
They can come and get Will Levis. I don't. I look. I've
You were
been
not
itching to get rid of him.
Will Levis just does not have a locker in Tennessee.
He can go. There could have been the Colts could have went a lot of other directions if they were going to go get a quarterback off their couch that they may have needed to start, like Tannehill.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tannehill's a better option than Phillip Rivers at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
It's one
how
of
desperate can you get?
say it's one of those things with the Colts. It'll be really interesting because you mentioned say you're mentioning what's his name, Riley Leonard. The problem is Riley Leonard has a knee injury, so they don't even
Mm-hmm.
know if he can go next week.
Yeah.
And if Brett Ripon has to play and Leonard's inactive, then and if he gets hurt, well, they already said that their emergency quarterback. Well, I'm sure they'll sign another one. but their emergency quarterback is Tyler Warren. So we might end up having to see like Tyler Warren at quarterback if the worst case scenario happens. So yeah, no, they're
You know what?
absolutely done.
Done. They're cooked.
Yeah. Okay.
And they have been playing with this. They have been toying with this, with the idea of being cooked for the past couple of weeks. I started seeing little cracks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It started when he busted his lip. That's when it started.
Yeah.
And then ever since he busted his lip, and yes, he was a dog that game, but what happened after?
Yeah. They have been
The,
slipping.
the, the magic slipper started to break slowly, and the Colts wanted to play with fire, and now they done got burnt.
Yeah. Um. Bucks Saints. Will Saints get a third win on the year? Which ultimately, Saints fans are gonna be mad because Tennessee got a win. It was their second win, so Tennessee's still in line for that number one pick. We know Saints fans would love to have that number one pick. We also know Jory's a big proponent of trading down, so maybe the Saints flip flop with you. But Saints go into Tampa Bay, beat Baker Mayfield's Bucks, and the bigger story is the Panthers are coming out of their bye, tied for first place in the NFC South. So who do you have
Oh,
in the NFC South? And they face each other twice in 3 weeks. So it's completely up in the air now. So who do you have winning the NFC South? Do you think the Bucks hold on, or do you give the upstart Panthers the chance to overtake them?
I don't want to silently say give the pet well because they're inconsistent, but they're the type of team that can beat anybody and lose to anybody.
Yeah,
So
hold on.
the Falcons are eliminated, and we'll get to them in just a second because I got a word for Raheem Morris. Um, I think the Panthers come out of this one. I really do. I don't like how the Bucks have looked.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen even when they've lost flashes with the Panthers. So it's not like it's all the way there. It's just when they lose, they don't execute.
Yeah.
I do think that the Panthers, the Bucks defense is kind of overrated to me, period. So yeah, I'll just say go ahead and give me the Panthers. They grow up so fast. I'm proud of Bryce. He grew up.
So the two remaining schedules, I will tell you. Week 16 and 18, they face each other. So those two games, obviously, we'll see. Next week, Bucks have the Falcons, Panthers have the Saints, and then in between the games against each other, the Panthers face the Seahawks while the Bucks face the Dolphins.
It just sounds like the Bucks should like win the division just off that alone.
Mm-hmm.
You draw a lifeless Falcons team and Tua in December, like that
Good
just
luck. I mean, that's
that
lucky.
like I'm gonna go with I'll give the edge to the Panthers still. I don't know what it is, but obviously we know that Baker Mayfield he's dealing with a shoulder injury,
Yeah.
and it showed. He was I don't know how else to say. He sucked really badly against the Saints.
Mm-hmm.
Like he had 30 passing attempts and had one more completion than Tyler Shuck, who threw like 10 less passes and less yards. So
Yep.
And Tyler
I,
Shuck used his legs, and I was like,
Yeah.
I've been telling people Tyler Shuck isn't bad. I think Tyler Shuck is going to be in the league for a long time. Do I think he's going to be a superstar? No, but I think he's going to be a quality starter to a really high end backup, and I think that's going to be a recipe to keep him into the league for like a decade.
yeah, the
So
Saints fans aren't trying to hear that because they wanted Shador.
Saints fans really want Arch Manning. That's what they want. Another Manning to lead their team. That's their dream guy. I just know it.
well, they can get Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, take him.
Absolutely could.
Say
Get him out my city too.
maybe the Falcons will package Morris with them. 2-for-1
Right.
special.
Man, bye. Bye. Take their ass down 20. All the way down 20.
So
Half
no.
New Orleans. To the
Yes.
end of 20, which is Texas. And then drop them off in the river. Get them out. Out. Because I'm like, what? Do you realize that the Georgia damn Bulldogs won 2 games at Mercedes Benz in the past 2 weeks? Guess how many games the Falcons have won there all damn year?
I
Two.
think at least one. Okay, so they have won a second one. Yeah.
It
You mean to sit here and tell me that y'all couldn't compete or blink or step foot to the Seahawks, make them say ow? Couldn't do jack squat. Couldn't stop them. Couldn't
Seahawks
do
have their
anything.
kryptonite. The Falcons can't cover Rashid Shaheed. They couldn't do it when he's with the Saints. They can't do it when he's with the Seahawks. And when the Seahawks returned the opening kick of the second half for a touchdown, I was
I
like,
knew
hey,
what it was.
that's basically what the Falcons are.
I'm like,
it
you know what?
yeah,
And for Raheem Morris to say that he has the utmost support from Arthur Blank, I said, oh, no, the hell you don't.
yeah. Falcons need to go find their franchise quarterback at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Say that guy ain't on the roster, and the Falcons secondary, I don't think could cover my 10-year-old nephew if he started running routes out there. And when it comes to Raheem Morris, you know what? You better start updating that Indeed profile, buddy, because there's
Hmm.
absolutely no way that he can be the coach next year.
Yeah.
And if he is, you're pretty much just punting another year. And there's talent on that team is the frustrating part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a simple big three of most teams would kill for a big three with Bijan, Drake London, just those two alone. Like you can do some really fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe you can scheme something out of Kyle Pitts. He did have that 1,000-yard season his rookie year. Something still might be there, but it's just clear that Raheem Morris isn't going to be the guy to get the most out of this team. So he's got to go. In fact, just fire him tomorrow and get that coaching search started early. Why waste your time?
Yeah.
He should have been gone today. Guess how many receiving touchdowns Kyle Pitts has? The same amount as Jameis Winston, which is one,
Yeah.
and Tristan
Although
Wirfs,
for
which is
whatever
one.
reason, Kyle Pitts only kind of plays well when Kirk Cousins is at quarterback. When Penix is at quarterback, you don't hear from him. So wherever Kirk Cousins goes in the offseason, because he should be gone somewhere, that team should go get
Take
Kyle
Kyle
Pitts.
Pitts.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but Penix, his connections with Drake London and Mooney, him and Pitts,
Hmm.
they just don't work.
They don't mix.
I don't think so. Penix wasn't blowing teams away. It wasn't blowing me away with the Falcons before he tore his ACL. Now, what is this? Is third knee surgery since college?
Yep.
I don't think the offense flows that much better. This will probably zap quite a bit of his mobility. And it's not like he was lighting the world on fire from the pocket. So
Yeah.
I think he'll be better than Kirk Cousins, but at the same time, it's really hard to be worse than 2025 going into 2026 Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm.
But they really do just have to find a real franchise quarterback because that dude isn't on the roster, but we know won't be next year. They don't got there first. So try again in
Oh, yeah.
2027.
Yeah. All right. I guess we'll do kind of a lightning round for the last couple of games here. Brett's Packers in a battle for the NFC North. Get the Bears 28-21. Packers 9-3-1. Bears are 9-4. It was a game that kind of went back and forth. We saw some great throws from Jordan Love. We got that obligatory interception that he loves to throw into his masterpieces. But the defense stands strong, picking off Caleb Williams late with the Bears having a chance to tie the game. And the Packers come through, win the NFC North, leading the NFC North. The Bears, this is how crazy the NFC is. With that loss, they went from 1-7. So,
Damn.
a day in the life of an NFC playoff team. So I bring this game up because ESPN loves talking about Jordan Love and whether or not he's an elite quarterback, a great quarterback, and all of this. Stephen A says what's holding Jordan Love back is he doesn't do it in the playoffs, which is hilarious to me because every time people do quarterback rankings, Lamar is in that big four group. Lamar's had his own playoff struggles. Josh Allen's in that group. Josh Allen's had playoff struggles. But for some reason, Jordan Love needs to prove it to Stephen A. You watch that game. There are throws that Jordan Love's making that I'd put my money on him to make over Lamar. Like, he's up there with, like, Joe Burrow, like, quarterback talent. And maybe a bit of a stronger arm might be. So, to you, is Jordan Love a great quarterback, elite quarterback, whatever category you're going to put him in? Is he one of those it guys in the league? Because the way Stephen A talks about him, he still hasn't done enough to like be that guy.
Stephen A is an idiot.
I mean, we
I
know
think
that.
I think he's an elite quarterback. And what does Stephen A mean he hasn't seen it done in the playoffs? First of all, what did Jordan Love do his first playoff game in Dallas?
Stephen A wasn't referencing that one. He was referencing the 2 fourth-quarter interceptions against the Eagles, which Dan Orlovsky almost lost his mind when he said that. Because Orlovsky was like,
kidding me?
But Orlovsky's like, that same defense destroyed Patrick Mahomes. So maybe it was just the Eagles.
That's what you wanted to hold against him? Two freaking picks against the Eagles who went on to win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
I want to fight. Like, what? So makes no sense.
There's some inconsistency with Jordan Love's game.
Why don't we add context to that Eagles game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the game, Jaden Reed, Romeo Doubs both go out with an injury. That's after Christian Watson the week before destroyed his knee, tore an ACL. And that's also with Jenkins and Myers, two starting offensive linemen, getting hurt. And not to mention Jordan Love left the game the week before against Chicago with an elbow injury.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. If you look at the numbers he's putting up, he is up there. He is borderline. If you want to say he's not elite, he's borderline elite. And this year, he's been elite. There's this idea that you got to wait to beat the Packers, you got to wait for Jordan Love to make the big mistake. I hate to break it to you. He doesn't turn the ball over that much.
Orlovsky brought that up. He said it's been like one interception in like 2 months or something.
Say his turnover-worthy plays are like middle of the pack among players with 50%, taking 50% of their snaps. The thing with Jordan Love's interception is he has the quantity of Rodgers, but the quality of Favre interceptions. Like when he throws interceptions, they're loud. But the reality is Jordan Love this year has been an elite quarterback. He's in the freaking MVP race. What more do you want from him? We want to talk about the playoffs. Okay, guess what? First year, he led the decimation of the Dallas Cowboys. He competed for 4 quarters with these, 49ers who made the Super Bowl that year. And unfortunately, obviously against the Eagles, it was a rough game, but when you're down your top 3 receivers and 2 offensive linemen, what more do you want from? I don't know what to expect really from that game. I didn't have high hopes going into it. I just said I hope it's a competitive game going into it. I wasn't confident in that one.
Mm-hmm.
So overall, I'm sure Stephen A said what he did and then said, this message is brought to you by Solitaire. But the reality is, if you think Jordan Love hasn't been elite this year, if he's been inconsistent, that's just not paying attention to what Jordan Love's been doing this year. Because that man this year, he's been an elite quarterback. Hate to break it to you,
Mm-hmm.
but he's been an elite quarterback. Last year, guess what? He was a little shaky. He still put up borderline. He was still very good, very good. So to me, it's the most natural progression. He went from really good to very good this year. He's been elite. So
Yeah.
I think Stephen A is terribly wrong. And I think pushing this interception idea that he can't get it done in the playoffs, it's all based on false narratives because he hasn't been turning the ball over his entire career. He's done a really good job taking care of the football. And guess what? He can get it done in the playoffs. I promise you. He's done it before, and I think you'll see it again this year.
Yeah.
Stay on top of y'all played the Colts who turned back into pumpkins. Chill out.
I mean,
Sunshine is
Liam
still your
Cohen is
quarterback.
the biggest thing Liam Cohen is doing. He's making people forget that introductory press conference. Because if they had a terrible year, they'd be playing that on a loop. But they're leading the division. They're doing their thing. Yeah, like with Jordan Love, when I see him drop back and he throws a deep ball, he's at like Drake May level where Drake May throws it, I assume is going to be caught for a big play. Jordan Love's the same way. And he made a couple of throws against the Bears where you're like, that is the Jordan Love that makes Green Bay so difficult potentially in January. And I'm interested to see now with like Parsons on that defense, how they get it done. So John says Love and Hurts stats are literally the same, so is Hurts elite.
Yes, we see what Jalen Hurts looks like when he has a competent offense that knows what the hell it's doing. And he can
Which
throw the ball.
going into the
Let's stop
offseason,
that.
well, the offseason was all about Jalen Hurts' elite status. I'm on board with saying that Hurts, only because like the biggest attribute you give Hurts, he's a winner. At that point, my mind was made out that he's elite because if you're winning big games, that's all that matters. Does it look pretty? No. Do the numbers jump off the page? No, but
No.
he wins. Now, this season, I think has hurt the argument a little bit, but it's more so the OC, the game plan, the line struggling, which is, hurts Saquon Barkley, which then hurts the balance of the offense. So I do think Hurts is still a top tier quarterback. I think this is just a bad year for him, and we'll see. Hopefully they make changes to the offensive staff because there's no way the OC can come back after the way this year has gone. We'll see with the A.J. Brown stuff, what goes on with that in the offseason because we know that's going to be a storyline. But, yeah, I think Hurts is still elite. Compare those stats to Lamar, pretty close other than the total yards. I've said this before. You give me a game I need to win, give me Jordan Love.
Here's the thing, too, with Love and Hurts. I've always been high on Hurts. I said that he was elite last year. I'm not going to sit here and change my tune, all because we're having a down year here. But also another context point to that is the Packers have quite a bit more rushing attempts than the Philadelphia Eagles. So it's one of those things where Jordan Love has been playing in a, more like weirdly a more run heavy offense this year, which is odd because I think the Eagles should, be running the ball more. But it's at the end of the day, I think Jalen Hurts has shown that he can be elite. He's shown that he can hit that level. And Jordan Love can too, so I'll take it.
Yeah. All right.
Lamar is not a playoff quarterback. Let's get that out there too. He is not.
If Jordan Love
right now, he's barely a regular season quarterback. Right now.
Yeah, John's saying that
Yeah,
Love
fair enough.
stats are comparable to Lamar. So how's it that Jordan Love is an elite?
If Jordan Love's 5 touchdown to 3 interception ratio is him not performing in the playoffs, which obviously gave you context for the Eagles game,
Mm-hmm.
then Lamar Jackson's 10 touchdown to 7 interceptions isn't good for the playoffs because really, is there that big of a difference between a 10-7 touchdown to interception ratio than a 5-3?
No,
It's
it's basically the same. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
Um.
Stephen A is an idiot, so we that's well established.
Yeah. But and this is where I wish they gave Orlovsky some more leeway because you could tell at Orlovsky's head he was thinking like John's comment because before they ended the segment, Orlovsky was like, Stephen A. He literally pointed at Stephen A. He's like, "This is where you upset me," because he's like, "We're holding Jordan Love to a standard that we don't for other quarterbacks," and you could tell he was about to rattle off some names, but they're like, "Well, we have to go to break," and he kind of let it go. So I was like,
They should have let Dan cook.
I hope one day in the near future, if Dan is on and they bring this back up, they let Dan Orlovsky go. But we'll
say,
see.
yeah, Dan would have made him look like an idiot, so that's why there was all of a sudden like, oh no, wait, we got to cut the commercial.
Yeah.
I mean, Stephen A. Smith doesn't have to try very hard to make himself look like an idiot. He
Right.
does that naturally. Even
Yeah.
when he goes out in public, that damn hairline just pisses me off every time I see it.
There's two more teams I want to get to before we probably get out of here. Um, we had Houston, Kansas City, where Houston, that defense, go into Arrowhead, knock off Kansas City. Kansas City is now 6-7. Apparently, they have a 15% chance to make the playoffs. Then didn't want to necessarily glaze over the Thursday night game where Detroit, in a game that Dallas needed, uh, went ahead and beat Dallas down. They're 6-1. Are you closing the door on Kansas City now after the Houston
Yes,
loss?
Yep.
yes, that was
Okay,
their last straw. They're done.
I agree. I agree with that. Even though people are still going to
Uh,
be like, hey, they're still lingering. They're now like 2 games back of the 7 seed while having to jump. They have to jump Baltimore. I think Baltimore has a tiebreaker or something, and the Colts, even though the Colts we know are sinking. So yes, I agree. They're done.
It's
Is Dallas
and
done after
Dallas is
losing?
done too.
well,
Okay,
Dallas has been done.
but people kept holding this hope that Dallas was gonna like. I think they were kind of banking on Philly just forgetting how to play football, and Dallas is gonna magically overtake them. So, yeah.
And
What with
that's
the
why we
Chiefs?
call them
Was I
delusional
the only
Dallas
one?
fans.
Was I the only one surprised by that fourth down going for it on like your own 15?
It was a terrible
That
call.
seems
Like,
very desperate for a Chiefs team.
it was a terrible call. It's one of those plays, right? I care about the process of a play. It could work, it could not work. I think the mindset and the process
Mm-hmm.
matter a lot. I think that just doesn't. That's not a great play, even if it works, because it's like if it works, then you forget about it. But like going for it on fourth down against a struggling tech, when you have a struggling Texans offense on the other side of the field, and you're putting them right in field goal range, like the risk reward is just not there because it's not like your offense is moving. You get a first down, that's great, and now, but at the end of the day, like it just seemed like the risk was too high right there to really go for it. So I'm not a big fan of it. It's one of those where it would have worked. I would have been like, I'm glad it worked. But that being said, I don't really like the decision making there, but I'm glad it worked for him.
Yeah.
At the end of the day with the Chiefs, like, what have they done to give you that confidence that they are going to make this magical run that people for some reason still think they're going on? And I don't want to hear, well, they won like 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years and made it to a third. I don't care. 2025 Kansas City Chiefs. What have they done to prove to you that, hey, yeah, they're making this run? They haven't done anything. They're not. It's not coming. Patrick Mahomes is gonna miss the playoffs, and they're gonna have to take a long look in the mirror. I think the first move, you're probably gonna see some coordinators gone. Matt Nagy, goodbye. So it's going to be a long period of self-reflection, but this year's Chiefs team has done nothing to show me that they're going to make this magical run to sneak into the playoffs. I gave them benefit of the doubt a couple weeks ago, but after watching them these next couple weeks, yeah, I'm sorry. It's not happening.
Mo. That's a good one, Mo.
I will say, when it comes to that decision, remember that comment Andy Reid said about tickling throats?
Yes.
That was his version of trying to tickle a throat. That's what I think. I really think that. I'm like, but instead of tickling somebody's throat, you making Chiefs fans ass itch. Because why do that?
It was just a one possession game, and like Brett said, it's not like the Houston offense was unstoppable. Like you punt, you get a stop, then you try it again. But they did that. The Texans capitalized with a field goal, 20-10. Chiefs just didn't have any time left to really do anything. But yeah, I mean, look, Week 14 had some great games. It's now done and gone. We move on to Week 15, where there's some other big matchups. But like I said, we're coming up on time, so I will just show this from last week. Brett and I had a decent week.
Finally, man.
Brett won 3-2. We both missed the Broncos because the Broncos just love getting wins that, by the slightest of margins. If it was for Nick Benito breaking up that pass, Broncos end up losing that game. Your lock of the week, you had the Eagles. We know how that went, which not pretty. Bucks gave me a push, but went 1-1. You went 3-2. Good week all around. Didn't get a graphic for the picks for next week, so I'll probably make that. And Brett and I will do picks off stream, and then we'll put up on wire to wire or something like that. But other than that, kind of all I had. And before we get out of here, obviously gotta say, appreciate you for coming on, Jory. Anytime you feel like you want to come on here and talk with us, the welcome mat is always rolled out for you.
I had to rant, and it was not going to wait till Friday.
Yes. No, definitely appreciate that. Like I said, anytime you want to come on, let us know. We'll be happy to have you on.
I think the Titans beat the Chiefs. I will say that.
I do figure if that happens, yes, you will probably want to be on here as well. Yes. So there you go.
And I already told y'all.
Expect Jory to be on next week.
And if Alabama finds a way to a national championship, I am going to make people block me. I am going to make people block me. Because I'm going to be insufferable. They ain't even got to win the goddamn thing. As long as they got to get there, I am going to be the most insufferable person.
Okay.
That's the warning.
Okay. We've been warned. Brett, let them know, I guess, what's coming up.
Yeah, you can catch an episode of the Meaty Boys podcast. We'll be discussing the big event on Saturday with John Cena's final retirement match.
And, I'll actually watch that.
So it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it. And of course, it sounds like on a Saturday you can also catch Mo and I on the N1 podcast. I'd work on Thursday so I can get off Saturday for John Cena's match. So, like I say, you can catch Mo and I though in about 10 minutes or so because we'll be right on here talking wrestling.
So John says upset Bengals over Ravens. Love that. Games you're watching: Pats, Bills, Packers, Broncos, Browns, Bears. Okay. It's not a bad lineup there, John. All right. So look, like Brett said, check him and Mo out in a couple minutes for Meaty Boys. I'll be back on here Thursday, Silent the Sideline, and then Friday with Jory, Passion and Precision, also with Key. And I have a feeling the Notre Dame conversation will come up again. And something tells me Jory might do another victory lap for her Titans. I don't know. Just
Of
throwing
course.
it out.
I'm not going to stop doing a victory lap until Sunday.
Higgins is out. I'd still feel okay with the Bengals beating the Ravens. But yeah, that's all I got for you. Appreciate you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hit the like button. Follow, subscribe, depending on the platform you're watching on. Come back in a few minutes for Meaty Boys for your wrestling needs. And check out all the other great shows here on the network. So until next week, for myself, Brett, possibly Jory, once again, if the Titans beat the Chiefs, she'll be back on. We're out of here. Enjoy the rest of your week. We will see you all next week. Bye.